Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tuesday, August 11th, 2020 remote meeting for the Board of Selectmen. The meeting is being audio taped, and it is 6 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Mitch, you have public comment first.
Okay, if anybody wishes to speak during public comment, please use the hand raise function or please raise your hand in your video. Anyone for public comment, please use the hand raise function or please raise your hand in your video. Okay, no takers, Madam Chair.
Okay, moving along to town meeting recap. I'd first like to say before you get into it, Mitch, what an excellent job you did. All the town employees pulling together, being there that day. Besides all the setup and work ahead of time, everyone working so well that day. Board of Health members, Finance Committee, everyone, all the employees who were there, seating people and doing all their duties. It really was an excellent show of support and great town, committee work, and everyone worked great together.
Yes, thank you. It really was a team effort. All of our staff in many departments, some who are never need to be involved in the meeting, chipped in to take part in the extra positions that we needed. So certainly passing along that thanks to all of our departments, to Public Works, to the town hall staff, the police department. Everybody really chipped in. They knew it was important to go well. And they gave it their all, and we're certainly ready to repeat it again if we need to.
Yeah, I will. I would reiterate what Ruth said, and I completely agree with it. And I would just add that even the cows liked it, so it was a good time, and it was enjoyable. We got a perfect day, so it was fantastic.
Yes, 163 was the final count, I believe, on participants.
Wow, that was great. Excellent. Moving on, consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
I do, Madam Chair. I move that the board approve all non-held items on the consent agenda.
Okay, do I have a second? Any discussion? The things that are on the consent agenda for everyone listening are approval of minutes, if any. Do we have any to approve, Mitch? Was there a set?
I think there's
I think the set from the last meeting. I think
so there was one set on
yeah, there should be just one.
Yeah, yep. Just one. Okay. 45 Long Beach lease to reflect a change of ownership. 33 Long Beach lease to reflect a change of ownership, and the appointment of Ann Aiello as a per diem police matron. Those are the things on the consent agenda. So any discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none, let's go to a roll call vote. Selectman Campbell?
Aye.
Selectman Selectman Murphy?
Aye.
Selectman Brackett?
Aye.
Selectman George? Aye. 4-1. Great, thank you very much.
4-0, 1 not present.
Action list. Things on the first thing on the action list is open fall town meeting warrant. Mitch, do you want to discuss that?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I recommend that you open the warrant this evening based on the schedule that we have in place for the fall town meeting. Now would be the time that you'd normally open up the fall warrant. What we would plan to do would be ask you to open it this evening, and then we'd ask you to close it again on August 25th at that meeting. So we'd hold it open for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And that's the normal amount of time that we always have in the past. Perfect.
Usually 2 or 3 weeks, depending on timing for things, but
yep.
At this point, 2 weeks.
And if we are anticipating, which I suspect we will be, being outside again, if need be, we obviously have a template that we can utilize from last Saturday, so that's great.
Yeah. Great. Do I have a motion?
You do. I move that the Board of Selectmen open the September 21st, 2020 fall town meeting warrant.
Seconded.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Selectman Campbell?
Aye.
Selectman Murphy?
Aye.
Selectman Brackett,
Aye.
Selectman George, aye. Thank you very much. Next is outdoor display applications.
Would you like a motion first?
Yes.
or- Okay, I move that the Board of Selectmen approve outdoor display for the 2020 season. Captain Tony's 53 bearskin neck and strut 2 bearskin neck.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second?
Okay, discussion. Mitch, have you had any concerns with these folks? Has everything been okay?
So on the Captain Tony's, I would just bring to the board's attention, in the past, has not necessarily authorized a full rack of clothing outside. The intention, as the board is aware, but for the public, has been basically to have a small display to draw people into the store or to be aware of the merchandise. Based on this, it appears that this would be a sale rack outside.
From the look
So
of
if
it,
the,
that's what it looks like.
yeah, so if the board wanted to make any additional restrictions or adjustments on that.
Did the opening committee have any recommendations? Did you hear through Sarah anything?
Sarah had individually voiced some concerns. The meeting was not able to take place last week, so the committee hasn't opined on it, but just from the base reading and our initial review in the office, it's a rack that may not be compliant with the board's policy.
Okay.
Paul would be responsible for enforcement on that, correct?
Correct.
So, I mean, if we approve it and there's a violation, then Paul goes down and we, corrective action is taken. If the corrective action isn't taken, then, next steps follow from there. So, as long as it's being followed, fine. And if not, then the rules are the rules.
Do we still have at one point, a number of years ago, we had a police officer that was kind of taking the lead on some of the enforcement tickets. Do we still have that person in place? Okay.
We don't. I think that predated me. The building inspector has been primary for a number of years.
And that's working okay, obviously, right?
As good as it could be, I think. Certainly, we'd always like more, but he has been issuing citations in a couple cases. I think that's probably what's bumped one of these to the board. One was operating without a permit.
Now, does this, restrict the not path, but the street, so when people are walking? Is it out far? I can't really tell how far it would be out.
I think that a full rack, even pressed against the building, would be pretty tight right there. So yeah, I think that would certainly make things tighter in that spot.
So Mitch, what I hear you saying is that it's more that it's sales stuff and not his regular items.
So it appears that you could walk up to that rack and purchase something off of it, which is typically not what the board has approved.
Okay. Well, I think we just need to tell him that it's a display of what he has for sale in the store, not to be bought off the rack as sale items, if that's what our policy has been all along.
Mm-hmm. It has. So then I would say if it is something that you wanted to restrict, that you'd amend your motion to reflect that the approval is subject to the limitations imposed in the board's current policy. And then we go back to him and have him pare the display back.
Okay, so do I have an amended motion?
Can you repeat that, Mitch? I just want to make sure I have it correctly.
Sure. He would, or an approval would be contingent upon compliance with the display requirements in the board's policy, which would then allow for us to have him scale that display back.
Okay. I move that the Board of Selectmen approve the outdoor display for the 2020 season contingency on the policy. Am I correct?
Compliance with the display.
Compliance on the policy. Captain Tony's 53 bearskin neck and strut 2 bearskin neck.
Do I have a second on the amended motion?
Second.
Any further discussion?
I just find it a little strange that we have to put a motion in to to reiterate our motion. It's a little odd that, you know, the rules are in place. They're there. Follow them. And I get that, you know, I understand what the situation is, but we're making a motion to reiterate our motion, I guess, is the way I'm seeing this. Seems a little odd.
So I would say the motion that was just made is requiring that the application be altered. Because if you were to just approve as submitted, it would not be in compliance and you'd be making an exception. So having you state it, in essence, forces an alteration to that application, as opposed to just approving as submitted.
Okay, so the motion is to amend his application then.
It alters his display plan, or requires an alteration to the
But
display.
also approve Strut's display.
Yes, as is.
Yes.
That's why.
Is, but to have him amend his application to make sure he is in compliance with our rules.
Was he made aware of this at the time the application was put in?
That individual, that store is very well aware of the display requirements. They've had multiple interactions with the inspector over the last few years.
Very good. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I think it's good to have the specifics in the motion so that we can refer back to it and make sure he gets a copy of that and has it really detailed in there. So we've had the motion, we've seconded it, we've had discussion. How about if we take a vote on the amended motion? Selectman Campbell?
Aye.
Selectman Murphy?
Aye.
Selectman Brackett?
Aye.
Selectman George? Aye. I do see that moderator Bob Visnick has joined us from the ocean. Bob, would you like to say a few words? We've talked about the town meeting, but
good evening, everybody.
good evening.
Just learned about this meeting this afternoon. And so I'm out here on the boat with my family, and it's a wonderful evening. And I think the meeting went very well. Obviously, we've learned some things that we can apply to the next meeting. And it took a lot of employees and a lot of volunteers and a lot of sweat and tears and concern to make the meeting happen. And just very appreciative to the board and to the town employees and to the residents who did a great job, I think.
Thank you very much. We all said that just before you came on, so.
There you go.
Yep. Thank you, Bob. So we're all set, hopefully, for looking at the fall town meeting being September 26th.
Okay.
So that would be that Saturday, Bob, immediately following the current schedule.
Okay.
And I believe that does not impact the two religious holidays that are the Saturday before and the Saturday after.
Real quick, point of order, if I can.
Haircut, but I'll have to defer that, I guess.
The motion that was made, because I made it, was for the 21st. So should we retake that vote to reflect the 26th?
No, I think we'll have you alter the exact time when you issue the warrant. Right now, it's simply opening for the fall meeting. So the actual real date will be set when you vote to issue the warrant itself.
Okay, just because I don't want people to be misled, because we did in the motion, it was stated as the 21st, that's all.
Yep, so we'll be sure that when we put the notice out that it's currently on the books 21st, the intention is that it would move to Saturday to duplicate what we just did.
Perfect, thank you.
Yep.
And I suspect that we'd be starting at 8 o'clock again, similar to last Saturday.
I like that. I know we had to call your house and wake you up, but it still worked well.
I thought it was good too.
Yeah, it was great. Get in and out very well. Very good. Okay. Next is
Thank you all.
Thank you, Bobby.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Next on the action list is annual reappointments, part 1. Do we need to make these separately, or can we read them and then vote on them as a group, Mitch? We have to vote on each one?
Yes,
Yeah.
please, because some have different terms associated with them.
Okay, great, okay. Do I have a motion for the annual reappointment of Action Inc. representative?
Yes, I move that the board appoint Roger Lesh as the Action Inc. representative for a term to expire on June 30th, 2021.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote. Selectman Campbell,
Aye.
Selectman Murphy,
Aye.
Selectman Brackett,
Aye.
Selectman George, aye. Next is annual reappointment to the Beautification Committee. Do I have a motion?
I do, Madam Chair. I move that the selectmen appoint Stephanie Wolf, Christine Lovegren, Heidi Goodwin, Mary Ann Kiley, Martha Fint, Mary Mintz, Phineas Kelly, and Terry Duffy as members of the Beautification Committee for terms to expire on June 30th, 2021.
Second.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? Okay, let's do a roll call vote. Selectman Campbell,
Aye.
Selectman Murphy,
Aye.
Selectman Brackett,
Aye.
Selectman George, aye. Annual reappointments to the Building Study Committee.
Did
Do I
we
have a
skip
motion?
Board of Fire Engineers?
Oh, fire engineers, I'm sorry. Annual reappointment of fire engineers.
Yep, I'll take that one. I move that the Board of Selectmen appoint Kirk Keating and Stephen Abel as members of the Board of Fire Engineers for a term to expire on June 30th, 2021.
Do I have a
Second.
second? Thank you. Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Selectman Campbell,
Aye.
Selectman Murphy,
Aye.
Selectman Brackett,
Aye.
Selectman George, aye. Annual reappointment of the Building Study Committee. Do I have a motion?
I can
Can
take
someone
that.
take-
Select item.
Yep.
I move that the selectmen appoint Monica Lawton, Kate Shaw, Jeffrey Juvile as members of the Building Study Committee for terms to expire June 30th, 2021.
Do I have a
Second.
second? Thank you. And any further discussion? Roll call vote. Selectman Campbell,
Aye.
Selectman Murphy,
Aye.
Selectman Brackett,
Aye.
Selectman George, aye. Annual reappointment of the DPW Facilities Building Committee.
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that the Board of Selectmen appoint Amin Aparo, Andrew Saul, Monica Lawton, and Bruce Reed as members of the DPW Facility Building Committee for a term to expire on June 30th, 2021.
Do I have a
Second.
second? Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Selectman Campbell,
Aye.
Selectman Murphy,
Aye.
Selectman Brackett,
Aye.
Selectman George, aye. Thank you. Annual reappointments for the Emergency Management Directors.
I move that the board appoint Mark Schmink as Director of Emergency Management and Seth Perry as Deputy Director of Emergency Management for terms to expire June 30th, 2021.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Selectman Campbell,
Aye.
Selectman Murphy,
Aye.
Selectman Brackett,
Aye.
Selectman George, aye. Thank you. Annual reappointment of forest fire warding. Do I have a motion?
I move that the Board of Selectmen appoint Michael Frontiero as the town's forest fire warden for a term to expire on June 30th, 2021.
Second.
Second.
Great. Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Selectman Campbell,
Aye.
Selectman Murphy,
Aye.
Selectman Brackett,
Aye.
Selectman George, aye. Thank you very much. Annual reappointment of the Granite Pier Committee. Do I have a motion? Someone can read it for Sarah?
I can take it again.
Sure, great, thanks.
I move that the selectmen appoint John Thompson, Eric Rask, Charles Nicole Jr., Michael Tupper, and Greg Morrell as members of the Granite Pier Committee for terms to expire on June 30th, 2021.
Do I have a second? Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Selectman Campbell,
Aye.
Selectman Murphy,
Aye.
Selectman Brackett,
Aye.
and Selectman George, aye. Annual reappointment of the Green Community Task Force. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that the board appoint David Perry, Edward Hand Jr., Bill Tobin, and Tom Meekus as members of the Green Community Task Force for a term to expire on June 30th, 2021.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, Selectman Campbell,
Aye.
Selectman Murphy,
Aye.
Selectman Brackett,
Aye.
Selectman George, aye. Thank you. Annual reappointment of the Memorial Day Parade Committee. Do I have a motion?
I move that the Board of Selectmen appoint Claire Franklin, Kendra Daigle, Darlene Trumbore, Gail Zimmern, Susan Blake as members of the Memorial Day Parade Committee for terms to expire June 30th, 2021.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further
Ma-
discussion?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I'm going to recuse myself. Darlene Trumbore is my sister-in-law.
Okie dokie. Selectman Campbell,
Aye.
Selectman Brackett,
Aye.
Selectman George, aye, with one abstention. Thank you very much. Annual reappointment of the Millbrook Meadow Committee. Do I have a motion?
I move that the Board of Selectmen appoint Samuel Colburn, Shannon Mason, Charmaine Blanchard, Barbara Sparks, Marshall Lombardo, Eileen Morrissey, Laura Hallowell, Richard Lorigan as members of the Millbrook Meadow Committee for terms to expire on June 30th, 2021.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Selectman Campbell,
Aye.
Selectman Murphy,
Aye.
Selectman Brackett,
Aye.
Selectman George, aye. Next is annual reappointments to the Open Space and Recreation Commission. Do I have can someone
Yep.
read?
I can do that. I move that the Board of Selectmen appoint Lawrence Neal, Stephanie Cunningham, and Ray Claypool as members of the Open Space and Recreation Committee for terms to expire on June 30th, 2021.
Rob Claypool.
What's
Ron.
Did
Rob.
I say, I'm sorry, Rob.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Selectman Campbell,
Aye.
Selectman Murphy,
Aye.
Selectman Brackett,
Aye.
Selectman George, aye. The reappointment of Traffic and Parking Committee. Do I have a motion?
You do, Madam Chair. I move that the board appoint Nancy Kearns and Jim Ugoni as members of the Traffic and Parking Committee for terms to expire on June 30th, 2021.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Selectman Campbell,
Aye.
Selectman Murphy,
Aye.
Selectman Brackett,
Aye.
Selectman George, aye. Thank you. Annual reappointments to the Town-Owned Art Committee. Do I have a motion?
I do, Madam Chair. I move that the Selectmen appoint Karen Berger, Brian McMullen, Dorothy Marshall, Rosemary Pillarelli, and Monica Lawton as members of the Town Art Committee for terms to expire June 30th, 2021.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Selectman Campbell,
Aye.
Selectman Murphy,
Aye.
Selectman Brackett,
Aye.
Selectman George, aye. Thank you. Annual reappointments to the Board of Health. Do I have a motion?
I move that the Board of Selectmen appoint Ron Newman as a member of the Board of Health for a term to expire on June 30th, 2023.
Do I
Second.
have
Second.
any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Selectman Campbell,
Aye.
Selectman Murphy,
Aye.
Selectman Brackett,
Aye.
Selectman George, aye. Thank you. Annual reappointments of Council on Aging.
I'll
Do I
take
have-
this one. Yep, that's fine. I move that the Board of Selectmen appoint Shirley Conway, Nancy Pittman, and Jen Perry as members of the Council on Aging. Terms to expire on June 30th, 2023.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Selectman Campbell,
Aye.
Selectman Murphy,
Aye.
Selectman Brackett,
Aye.
Selectman George, aye. Annual reappointments of the Cultural Council. Do I have a motion?
You do. I move that the Board of Selectmen appoint Ann Robinson and William Waller as the members of the Cultural Council for a term to expire on June 30th, 2023.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Selectman Campbell?
Aye.
Selectman Murphy?
Aye.
Selectman Brackett?
Aye.
And Selectman George, aye. Annual reappointments of Insurance Committee. Do I have a motion?
I move that the selectmen appoint Russell Daly as a member of the Insurance Committee for term to expire June 30th, 2021.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Selectman Campbell?
Aye.
Selectman Murphy?
Aye.
Selectman Brackett?
Aye.
Selectman George, aye. And I believe the final one is annual reappointments of the Insurance Committee.
I move that the selectmen appoint Laurie McDonald as a member of the Insurance Committee for a term to expire on June 30th, 2023.
Do I have a
Second.
second? Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Selectman Campbell?
Aye.
Selectman Murphy?
Aye.
Selectman Brackett?
Aye.
Selectman George, aye. All of those are reappointed. Thank you, everyone, very much.
Real quick, if I may, Madam Chairman, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. If you look on this list and you listen to the names that are here, there's a lot of repeat names, people that really step up and make this town run and make Rockport what it is. So I just wanted to extend a special thank you to the folks on these committees that have given so much of their time on so many committees. So thank you.
Yep, thank you very much. Very well said. Thank you. Next is Board of Selectmen and Town Administrator updates. Mitch, do you want to go first?
Certainly, Madam Chair. The board received the draft layouts of the liaison assignments.
Yes.
So wanted to see if the board was comfortable with what was there, or if we need to make any adjustments to each of these.
Madam Chair,
yes.
oh, go ahead. You go, then I can go after you.
No, I was just going to read them so everyone would know what they are.
Okay, why don't you do that then? I just have a question about.
Okay, then we can talk. Okay, for Chairman George, it's DPW, Board of Health, Addison Gilbert, Council on Aging, Community Preservation, and Rights of Way Committee. The Vice Chair, Campbell, is Millbrook Meadow Committee, Cultural Council, Memorial Day Parade Committee, Straitsmith and Thatcher Island, Planning Board, and Capital Improvement Planning Committee. And that's going to be with Selectman Brackett. Select Person Wilkinson is Finance Committee, School Committee with Selectman Murphy, Government and Bylaw Committee, Zoning Board of Appeals, Historic District / Historic Commission, and Conservation Commission. Select Person Murphy is Beautification Commission, School Committee with Selectman Wilkinson, Harbor Advisory Committee, Library Trustee, and Granite Pier Committee. And Select Person Brackett is Town-Owned Art Committee, Green Community Task Force, Economic Development Committee, Capital Improvement Planning Committee with Vice Chair Campbell, and Open Space and Recreation Commission.
Perfect. The only thing that I think is missing, I don't see public safety.
We haven't had.
We haven't had that in a number of years.
Okay,
It's not a
good.
committee, that's why.
Excuse me?
Well,
It's not a
it was a liaison assignment at one point. That was my point.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was.
We haven't done that since we
Okay.
stopped having the board do departments.
Okay.
So is everyone comfortable with what they have? Does anyone want to give up anything? Take something different? I'm comfortable with mine.
I'm okay with mine.
Okay,
I'm fine
Bob?
with mine. Yep, no,
Yeah.
all good.
I'm good too.
okay. I tried to look at Ross's since he's our new person and tried to look at what would be interesting to him down in, with his business and being down on Main Street. So that's why we kind of economic development, green community, because he was involved in that before he became a selectman. And open space and recreation where he has young children. That's great to have him on something like that. And I think Capital Improvement Planning Committee is a great one to get your feet wet, finance.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay.
And it will, last year it alternates between the selectman person being the chair, and then the next year, the finance committee person being the chair. I was the chair last year as the selectman person. This year, it's going to be the chair of that committee is going to be the finance person. So we don't know who will take that, but thank you for that on the liaison report, on the assignments. Mitch, did you have anything else?
I don't, Madam Chair, it's been town meeting and budget prep the last couple of weeks, so we're now catching our breath on that, looking ahead to fall town meeting and getting out the annual compliance materials in the next couple of weeks and the employee evaluations in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, great. The other thing I was going to do is just for our liaison assignments for this week. Dawn, did you have anything to report on planning board since they met this week?
No, I don't.
Okay. I had a couple of meetings. One was DPW Facility Building Committee. I'll just quickly report on that. It's going well. We have been looking at a color board to look at the colors of the building, what it might be. It's looking like it might be a whitish gray with maybe slight, a redwood sort of red trim around the area. We're gonna have another mock-up at the next meeting, which is August 26th. We're moving right along. We talked about solar panels. We talked about a solar field, other places in town. We had someone speak to that for the committee. And our next meeting is going to be reviewing the task list, because there are quite a few continuing things that Joe Mealy, our OPM, is working on. And next is design and development drawings, and the design and development and cost estimates, and then value engineering if needed. So those are some big things that are coming up. And hopefully we will, before the end of September, have a presentation by Weston and Sampson, our OPM, and the building committee on what we have done on the building and how we're progressing. So it's a busy committee, but it's an interesting one for sure. A lot of smart people on it. All I'm doing is driving the bus. DPW commissioners, that met this week. Their main topic was looking at the CPC applications that I'll talk about next. But DPW has co-sponsored several of them. They also talked about they're looking at a long-range maintenance plan for roadway maintenance and a building plan to look at buildings and being able to look at them in a comprehensive way that the building study committee had done before, and just working off of that. And then they're also looking at doing a monthly reporting to the commissioners. I think it's been kind of hard for the commissioners to feel that they know everything that's going on with DPW, because they're not in the building, being able to go in and talk to the different men, talk to the people in engineering and GIS and Joe and the directors and managers and stuff. So we've asked him to, or they've asked him to put up a monthly report so he can see better what's going on monthly during this COVID part. CPC met this week, and their next meeting is tomorrow at 2 o'clock, where they're going to vote on their final applications. The applications for this year that they're going to be voting on and the amounts are Thatcher Island Assistant Keepers House improvements for $30,000, Thatcher Island Solar Power and Security for another $30,000, South Harbor Float System for $60,000. The Evans Field and Parisi Field upgrades was withdrawn. YMCA Splash Park for $100,000. Footbridge at Cape Edge to Long Beach, $69,000. Transfer to the Conservation Trust, $200,000. And Harvey and Barletta Park renovations, it was at $219,000 and now it's down to $95,000. Restoring the Rockport Art Association Tavern building for $48,500. And restoring the Old Firehouse Trust was at $200,000, and now they're asking for $27,000 for a study. And community housing, Kitefield Road replacement roof, $236,869, and Action, a tenant-based housing, for $75,000. That came in late, but they are looking at it in this time of COVID and people losing their jobs. we had always, or CPC and Rockport had always done an action tenant-based housing to help people with mortgages and rents. And they did a late application this year specifically, so the CPC is looking at that, and it's pending because of people losing their means of support and things like that. So those are what they're going to be voting on tomorrow. So it's been a busy couple of weeks.
Good.
The other little thing I was just going to mention, since we don't have a lot else on it, is I was trying to think of, when I became chair, what I really wanted to try to work on this year. And I tried to go back and think of what has come before the board since I've been on the board. This will be going into my 3rd year. And so I wrote down some of the things that I want us to, and I'll formally present this and send everyone a copy so we can talk about it more. But some of the things were, getting the annual town meeting date and a venue, working on the rights of way committee over on Phillips Avenue and all around town. The summer bathrooms at beaches, looking at CPC usage for that. CPC has talked that might be something they could help with for long-term areas at the beaches. Long beach leases, roads, long-range planning, coastal plan for the town, tool company property, the tree warden policy came up last year. I think one of the things that really would be a good thing to be able to do is maybe do that as a job sharing thing with the other towns, like we have the HR director, we have with the veterans agent and other things. I think that's a very specific thing that doesn't need a full-time person. So another thing on the list, kiosks, hard start and stop dates, Pigeon Cove Fire Station, where is that with CPC funds? The VBRO and room rentals, we sort of crossed that off at town meeting. The business district and increased conversions to high-end condos downtown, something we all need to look at with the planning board. Maybe looking at a parking garage, is it time? Long-range planning with the schools. Tax title land and trying to get signed off on those Straightsmith lots. Divers policy and obtaining permits for other users of profits down on the beaches. The fueling station, the use of town property. We need that as an updated policy. A lot of things are being cringed upon in town, using town property without getting permission. The government and bylaw committee. One thing I'd like to see is sort of an area every time we have a meeting for old business that we follow up. So we have sort of a tickler file that these things don't get lost and that we review some of that. And then put an area on the agendas for interviews and appointments. Right now we had that big long list, but that's because of COVID and all of that's held us up right now. But it's good to be having those right on the list all the times and getting those interviews in place. We have a lot of people we need to interview and appoint right now. Updating liaison list, which we've done, the DPW presentation. Getting the HR director. We have a new HR director. I'd like to get her on a Zoom meeting so we can introduce her and tell her about what's going on. And she can explain her role and her background and that type of thing. Sewer capacity, we talked about that last year, but didn't really go forward on that. And, MBTA and Halibut Point. I think the off season is a good time to talk about their parking plan for next year, since that's been such a tough thing for the police to deal with this year. And the Firehouse Trust, what's going to happen with that building and stuff. So those are just some of the things. My thought was that some of the big things like fueling station, coastal plan for the town, long-range planning for the schools, things like that, maybe 2 selectmen could do it together and be sort of the spearhead of those things and working together on things and looking to push getting more information on those things and bringing it to the full board to vote on and talk about. So that's sort of where I'm thinking we should go this year. Any comments or?
No, that's very ambitious, and I appreciate all your research into some of the topics that are on the front burner in Rockport. So,
yeah.
But whatever I can do, just speaking for myself, of course, be happy to help.
Yeah.
On all those items.
Thank you.
I think that I like, obviously all of those issues have come before us, and Unfortunately, some of them have died on the vine, or at least they're on life support on the vine. There are a lot of topics that were discussed. So I just want to make sure that we get to them and obviously prioritize correctly on these things. And I think that will be done. One of the things that I really want to push through, and I'm glad you said it because I had it on my list over here, is the fueling station. I think that's, we really need to push forward with that. But even before that, the two that most pressing as far as I see them are Long Beach leases and the sewer overlay district. Two things that really need to be worked on and hard. And some of these things involve executive action that won't be done publicly. Unfortunately, it can't be because of the way it is. So I think it's a great plan. I think we need to make sure that we have a plan going forward and that we execute that plan. It was encouraging to see a lot of things come before our board, but it was very discouraging to see them kind of, fade off into the sunset and nothing happened after that. So I'm hoping that that won't happen this time, and that we will, with new plan of action to perhaps two people, as you said, spearheading these efforts, reporting back. I think that's a good approach to going about this, and let's get the town's business done. I think it's a good plan.
Thank you. Ross, any comments?
I second everything.
Okay, great. Any other liaison assignment or updates, anyone?
I have one other thing, and I guess this is for Mitch. I was outside of a very well-known donut establishment over the weekend, and I was talking to Tim Olson, and Tim was talking about Town Hall on their side in Hamilton being open again. What's our plan going forward? Obviously, without jeopardizing anybody, but how do we look at potentially, the reopening of Town Hall to get things done?
Yeah, so we're internally evaluating and in conversations with the Board of Health leadership on when an appropriate time would be for us to do that. Right now, all services are available to folks. Certainly, we have folks coming in by appointment. So we're not at a loss for services. I recognize that some others have opened, and I appreciate that Hamilton has. Different circumstances, though, with different towns, so I don't like to necessarily do an apples to apples with it, but we are looking at it. The first foray into that will be the in-person early voting that will start next week. So that'll be really our internal trial on our safeguards and processes. So we're monitoring it. Once we see how that goes, I think we'll start to look at further expanding by appointment services.
Okay.
Great. And G, considerations of current or additional restrictions related to COVID-19. Mitch?
Madam Chair, no other adjustments at this point. The Board of Health has several items that they'll be considering at their meeting Thursday. And we'll go from there.
Okay.
And the school committee's meeting tomorrow night, correct?
Right. Yes, tomorrow night and Thursday night. They have two meetings.
Yeah.
So I'll report next week on Board of Health also. Any other business? Just a FYI, I got my ballot in the mail today, so that was nice to see my ballot. So they're out and about. So if anyone does a ballot to be sent to you, mine came in the mail today from Rockport, so that was nice. Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Seconded?
Second.
Roll call vote. Selectman Campbell.
Aye.
Selectman Murphy.
Aye.
Selectman Brackett.
Aye.
Selectman George, aye. It's nice to be back and just have a selectmen's meeting. Okay, so our next meeting is August 25th,
Oh, okay.
in 2 weeks.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.